Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix playthrough. It is time for us to head on into the second cluster of worlds. And first off on our list is, of course, who's the leader of the pack is made for you and me. M-I-C-K-Y-M-O-U-S-E, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. For everyone who knows the bloody words, hey, 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 who's the leader of the pack is made for you and me. M-I-C-K-Y-M-O-U-S-A, it's Disney Town, yay! I just thought I'd get the complete and utter insanity in there, you know, before it started drilling into our brains once again. Because why the hell not? And one of the things that you would have definitely noticed right now is that I'm definitely being a lot slower in terms of melding my commands. And that is because at this moment in time, I am most definitely using a guide to make sure that I am getting exactly what I want out of my melding. So I'm getting the right abilities, I am getting new commands that I wasn't expecting, all sorts of good stuff. And really that's probably the best way to go about doing the melding commands, because while it's fun to just throw stuff together and just see what sticks, it's never going to be entirely that successful unless you know what you're doing. I mean, basically the way that the whole thing works is there's a grid structure effectively, and different rank commands added together lead to certain outcomes. Particularly when you're using then crystals and so on and so forth, because they intersect and all sorts, and it's all really complicated. But people have done entire guides based upon the structure of it all, so it all exists out there should you wish to make use of it. And I would certainly recommend doing so, because my god, it's so helpful.
Ta-da! Wearing the mask of peace and hope comes the fearless defender and hero of this town. It is me, Captain Justice.
Huh?
What? Now listen, you pipsqueak. I'm Captain Justice. Who are you to walk away whence the bona fide hero is offering his help?
I'm sorry, but I really don't need any kind of hero. Bona fide or...
Somebody, come quick! What's that? Trouble? Captain Justice to the rescue!
You? Oh, now that's a shame. Or is it? Maybe this job's perfect for you, Mr. Hero.
What? Name your catastrophe!
Those annoying monsters have turned up again over in Fruitball Plaza. They're all yours now, Captain J.
Monsters? Don't tell me the Inverse are here.
Monsters? Well, too bad. Not on my list.
I didn't know bona fide heroes got to pick.
But I wouldn't stand a chance of surviving. Fitting them into my schedule.
Gosh, I thought you said you were Captain Justice. You can't leave those menacing things running loose. They're ruining Fruitball.
Huh? Hark! Do you hear that? Somebody's calling for Captain Justice's help. Do not fear, I am on my way. Sounds like this catastrophe can't wait, but I'll be back here in a jiff.
Oh, I'm sure you will, Captain Useless. But I don't think I'll stay here and hold my breath.
I'm anything but a hero, but maybe I could help if you want.
Would you? Oh, that'd be just Jim Dandy. Someone needs to trounce those fiends at Fruit Ball and keep them away from the plaza.
I'll try.
Just give a holler once you're ready, and I'll explain to you how Fruit Ball works.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to do a little bit more than explain how it works, Horace. You're going to need to, you know, make it not a cheap-ass rubbish minigame that the AI horrifically cheats on. Like, at least with Rumble Racing and with Ice Cream Beat, well, Ice Cream Blast, or whatever the hell the ice cream one's called, at least with those, it is pretty much down to skill with whether you win or not, but Fruit Ball very much does just feel like it is luck a lot of the time, and it drives me absolutely posse. But I bet you guys didn't miss this place, because yeah, we're back here having a wonderful time trying to make our way through the sewer area, and annoyingly it's pretty frustrating with Aqua, because one of the things that you will notice quite quickly is that because she doesn't have the slide manoeuvre, very much like Van, you are going to need like Fire Dash or Sliding Dash or one of the barrier moves in order to get you across the gaps effectively. And it's a pain. It really is. I mean, Aqua's barrier can be quite helpful during the pinball section because you know you can freeze yourself in the air, which can be a really useful thing to pull off. But in general, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating with Aqua and making progress through the whole region, but we will manage it because that is my goal. And thank God they gave us a thunder there, because definitely needed it in the deck. But what I'm actually going to do is use a different deck for this, because it's not something that I've really made a whole lot of use for, and I'm not really ever going to make use of it. Well, I mean, we'll make a few uses of it again, but you can have up to 3 different decks, and you can customise them as you require. So obviously I can just create a deck full of Thunders and just spam away in order to get through this thing, and obviously because I have also got Thunderbolt, that just makes that pretty nice and simple. The way that you're gonna want to use the sort of multi-deck system and idea is set up commands for certain command decks for certain situations and certain battles. In general, you're gonna just find you just end up sticking with one deck for the majority of the game. You're just kind of bringing in commands in and out as you go, and that is a perfectly reasonable way to play Birth by Sleep, and in fact it will get you through pretty much the entire game. It will only come to certain boss battles where a generic deck won't serve you quite so well, and oh, I was so close. Definitely need 2 dash attacks in my deck to make that more effective, I feel. Either that or, you know, make sure my jumping's a little bit more effective. This is why I am so grateful for flow motion becoming a thing in Dream Drop Distance, and then that going forward just making the whole shebang of the platforming a lot more fluid in the other titles. And now I finally realised, yeah, no, get another dash move in there. I probably should have stuck them one next to the other, because, you know, that would have worked better. But hey! As you well know by this point, I don't always make the smartest moves when I'm playing video games. I really should. You would have thought by this point that I would know better. But clearly, I do not. And there we go, just made it over the edge. Now I've just got to make sure I don't, you know, fall all the way back down before I pick up my chest, which is what I've come for. Because that would be particularly horrifically awful. So then I'd have to do all that platforming again. I just cannot be asked. But hey, at least this guy decided to respawn, so I can actually murder him and get the experience points from him, because it's useful and it's helpful. And he was what we needed to get up to level 17, which is brilliant. Obviously we don't really need levels in this area whatsoever, but I'll take them. Just means that then we have less grinding to do later on down the line, when getting those levels can be a little bit more helpful in terms of making progress. And I have the feeling that this is going to end badly. That could have gone very, very quickly south. But it was all right. And we live to platform another day. And I suppose while we're just going through this area for the umpteenth time, because it really does feel like that, it has only been technically for the third time, although there's been multiple runs in each of those runs. This sort of stuff can just get rather mind-numbing. So I suppose something that, well, something in terms of Kingdom Hearts that has become a talking point as of late, due to the actions of, I believe it was Angry Joe on YouTube. There's a whole debate going on, specifically with Kingdom Hearts 3, of should Kingdom Hearts 3 be friendly to newcomers? As in, should it require all the knowledge of the previous games that have come before it, or should it just assume that knowledge and let you just deal with that? Because there are a lot of people who, well, maybe not that many people, but there are a number of people, including Angry Joe, who are of the contingent of, I shouldn't have to play the 9 other games in this series in order to understand what's going on. Which I really do not really agree with. If it was a case of, well, if it was like Kingdom Hearts 2, then there is an argument that you don't necessarily have to play the first. And actually the way that Kingdom Hearts 2 is set up is that it gives you a rundown of everything that took place before it. In its opening, it gives you sort of that quick rundown in a very fun fashion. And what it does then is it allows you to, well, it introduces you to Roxas, which is a new character for everybody, so you're learning all those things again anyway. And then because Roxas is learning Sora's story in his bit, you're getting that recap, but it's effective. and it works. But at that point in the franchise, you had 2 games to deal with. You had the original Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and ultimately the introduction moment of Kingdom Hearts 2 and the organisation are effectively recaps of Chain of Memories and the basics of what happened there, for the sole purpose of explaining why Sora woke up in a capsule. And there's absolutely nothing over here. Oh, there are some enemies, so I suppose there's that. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, it works because there wasn't that back catalogue of very important plot stuff. Ultimately, all you needed to know was Heartless bad, Keyblade good, go save the world. And that all makes sense. But Kingdom Hearts 3 has a lot of backstory leading up to it, because you've got the likes of Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep did okay in being an entry point into the franchise, because while it does rely ever so slightly on the principles of the original games, because it's completely separate characters and it's a prequel, you don't need to know the rest of the story in order to get what's going on. It just helps make it more powerful in terms of the narrative it tells. But then you've got things like 358 over 2 days, which really you need to play through the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 2 to get and to appreciate. You've got Recoded, which you also need to have played through Kingdom Hearts 2. It explains everything of why that game is the way it is. You've got Dream Drop Distance, which also very much requires knowledge of the rest of the series. And then all of those, in addition to all of the original games, lead into Kingdom Hearts 3. Because there's a lot of very important lore in there from Master Xehanort, what Kingdom Hearts is, who Aqua, Terra, Ventus are, how they've ended up in the situations that they have, why they have the relationships that they do to the characters involved. And while the game, when it eventually comes out, may do a decent job of covering all of that without being very difficult to get into for people who are new to the franchise, you've got the argument of why the hell would you intentionally come into a franchise on its 3rd big tentpole entry, especially when a quick Google shows you that there are like 9-10 games in the series. It just baffles me why you would have that logic and why you would feel like you are entitled to be able to enjoy that game without any sort of lead-in to the story. Because from everything that we have all seen of Kingdom Hearts 3 so far, it is very much looking to be a game that is built for fans. It's entirely there to give them everything sort of that they've ever wanted out of a finale to the series. Because obviously it's bringing to a close the end of the Xehanort saga, and that is a big thing for people who have been following this franchise since it originally came out in... I'm gonna make sure I get that figure correct before I completely make a fool of myself. Yeah, so 2002, when the original came out. So, people have been following this franchise for a good 16 years now. And they will have been waiting from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Kingdom Hearts 3, a grand total of 13, 14, well, it was pretty much 13 years. Because I think Kingdom Hearts 2 came out relatively late in 2005 in Japan. Yeah, it was December 2005, so it was 2006 for the rest of the world. So 13 years, because obviously Tetsuya Nomura is an incredibly clever, sort of a goofy, because everything in this franchise relates to 13. Everything. So there's a lot of feelings going in to Kingdom Hearts 3 for people who've been following the franchise for that long. And so it's very important to them that it's done right, and it's very important that it does thank them for all the stuff that they've done for the franchise over the years, because without the fans, Kingdom Hearts would not be the success that it is. But anyway, it's time for us to begin Fruit Ball, which is, yeah, it's easily my least favourite of the mini-games, because there doesn't really seem to be any real strategy. I'm sure there is, but it's difficult to really aim and protect throughout it. Obviously you did see a bit of it during Terra's story, but what's really irritating is that we do have to actually win this to be able to finish the world, and I really don't like it, because the whole smashing and bumping can be an effective way of smashing your enemies and getting good scores, especially doing stuff like that with the grapes, because it splits them up and then each one hit is a goal. But actually pulling it off, easier said than done. And as you go through the different stages of Fruit Ball, because obviously, as with Ice Cream Beat Blast, and as with Rumble Racing, there are different stages that you can do depending on how much effort you want to put into these things. And you are actually going to need to beat Bloomin' Fruit Ball every single stage if you want to get a particular shot lock. I believe it's called Chaos Snake. And while I did manage to, in the end, get some sort of motion going in terms of getting through Bloomin' Fruit Ball, it's still easily one of my least favourite sections of this game, because it doesn't really feel like there's much logic to how it works, and you often end up stuck in bumping and smashing, and what the game sort of feels like it wants you to do is it wants you to aim, but it never feels quite like the game allows you to properly aim where you're shooting. Effectively what you needed was the zone shots from Mario Tennis Aces, and I think that would have made this a lot more fun, because as it stands I've got to magically get another 3 points now, before the end of this in order to win, and I am very, very quickly running out of time. So I've just got to get incredibly lucky. And there's my my draw, and I go straight into sudden death, and that was so incredibly tight, but I won, and that brings us to the end of our time in Disney Town. And while we get a nice little ending here, it is notably extended over the other 2 visits. Whoever is your last person in Disney Town gets this extended cutscene, and it closes out entirely the story of Disney Town. So, it's time to sit back, relax,
please
and
excuse me,
basically
Your
see
Majesty.
how Pete
Where are my manners?
ended up
My name
with
is Aqua.
Maleficent. Let's
There's
go.
no need to be so formal. Just call me Minnie. You see, I'm not sure I'm doing a very good job protecting my kingdom.
Oh, don't say that, Queen Minnie. We all know how hard it's been since the king set off the way he did. Don't you trouble yourself. Why, we wouldn't even think of putting on our yearly dream festival if we thought there was the slightest chance anything might go wrong.
Oh, you're very kind, Horace.
How about that Pete, though? Captain Justice My Hide. You can't count on him for anything.
Wait, you're saying his real name is Pete?
Well, it's sure as sugar isn't justice. Pete never does anything for anybody except Pete. That get-up was just an act to get folks to vote for him. He wants to win the Million Dreams Award and hog the prize.
Million Dreams Award? What is that?
It's part of our dream festival. We all vote for who we think the most admirable citizen is. But Pete seems to have the wrong idea. He thinks that dressing up as a hero and proclaiming that he is one will win him votes. What really makes someone a hero isn't what they wear or what they say. It's the things they do and how they treat everyone.
Well, in my book, Aqua here is #1. You got my heartfelt vote.
Thanks, Horace. I promise I'll try not to let you down.
See that you don't. My vote's very important.
Oh dear, he sounds serious.
Being popular is tough.
Who do you think's gonna win this year's Million Dreams Award?
Boy, oh boy! I hope it's the guy I voted for! I voted for him too! Now that we got so much business at the shop, maybe we'll be #1! Wow, Uncle Scrooge sure would be proud of us if we actually won. Yeah, and I bet Uncle Donald would be pretty surprised too! Hello everyone, and thank you for waiting. Now it's time to begin the main event of our Dream Festival. The Million Dreams Award presentation.
Just skip to the part where you say my name. This is a shoo-in.
Oh, how very exciting! This year, we have multiple winners. The Million Dreams Award goes to Ventus, Aqua, and Terra. All 3 of you.
You mean Ven and Tara were here?
What do you mean? There's gotta be a mistake. Everybody voted for Captain Justice. I made sure. Now go on, tell her. No. Better try the other one. The Rogue Racer, Captain Dark.
Pete, we counted the votes very carefully. Ventus, Aqua, and Terra won. Oh, Pete, I think you tried to do something good, but you were doing it for the wrong reasons, and you went about it the wrong way. Still, a couple of citizens must have thought you had goodness in you because you actually got a few votes. They knew you were looking out for them.
Big whoop. I don't need their lousy votes. Just cough up my prize.
Pete! They voted for you because they believe in you and care about you. How could you look down on that? I've tried to forgive a lot of things you've done, but this is too much. Now you've finally crossed the line.
Like that matters to me. Besides, what are you gonna do about it?
Huh, I'm going to let you cool off for a while. Guards!
Wait, what? Hey, let me go. Put me down. What? No, you can't. No, no, no. Hey, easy. Ow!
Now, shall we continue the ceremony? Would the three winners, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra, please come up and join me on the stage? Oh dear, it looks like our other two winners couldn't make it here to be with us today.
I must have just missed them.
Perhaps you would accept the award on their behalf. After all, you've been so kind to so many here at the Dream Festival. So now, I hereby present the Million Dreams Award as a token of how much you matter to us. Congratulations!
Good for you!
Thank you, everyone.
And as an extra treat, we've created something special. An ice cream flavor just for you. Royal Berry Ice Cream!
Oh my, I wish I had my own ice cream flavor.
What's it taste like? Go on, try it! What do you think?
Delicious. You couldn't have picked a better flavor.
Oh, we're all very glad you're enjoying it.
Oh boy, that was great!
No. Who does she think she is dumping me in a place like this? Well, I'll just bust out of here and...
Quiet, fool. You do not possess that kind of power.
Who's there? Show yourself!
That is enough. Stop your sniveling and heed my words.
Okay.
If you do exactly as I say, I may decide to release you from this prison.
Really? Oh, then you can count on me. Just get me out of here, and you can tell me what to do.
A very wise choice indeed. Now, proceed. With your help, soon every world in existence will all be mine.